Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, Typhoon Tisoy unleashes its wrath, leaving a trail of devastation, especially in the Bicol region.
Sila may naalis na yung kalakasan na, kaya matitigas din ang ulo ng aming kabarangay. Ayaw nilang iwan yung kanilang mga tahanan.
How will a Department of Disaster Resilience come into play? Iba si NDRRMC.
Kasama na, absorb na si NDRIMC, absorb na si OCD, absorb na si PBOLS, absorb na si Pag-asa.
And is the proposed 2020 budget on track? Albay Representative Joey Salceda joins us live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. Typhoon Tisoy slightly weakens after making landfall over Cuba at Sorsogon Monday night, but Pag-asa says that it will continue to bring heavy rains and strong winds in the Bicol region and other parts of Luzon. Typhoon Tisoy forces thousands of families to flee from their homes. Local government agencies in Luzon, as well as the Visayas, have implemented forced evacuation in most cities and provinces amid threats of a heavy downpour and floods. These include Albay, Northern Cebu, and Eastern Visayas. In Manila, Mayor Isko Moreno ordered the preemptive evacuation of those living in the city's coastal areas. As of last night, disaster officials say more than 22,000 families or more than 89,000 individuals from regions 5 and 8, including Mimaropa and Calabarzon, have been evacuated. The strong winds and rains caused by the typhoon have left thousands of passengers stranded in various seaports in Albay, Camarines Sur, Sorsogon, and Masbate. The Manila International Airport announced that operations of all NAIA terminals are suspended between 11 a.m. today until 11 p.m. tonight. PAL Express and Cebu Pacific have earlier canceled its flights. Civil aviation authorities have advised all airlines and airport personnel to activate emergency disruption procedures. They said this will minimize the impact of the typhoon in their operations. For the complete list of class suspensions and canceled flights, you can go to our social media platforms at CNN Philippines. Typhoon Tisoy hitting the province of Camarines Sur, bringing heavy rains and strong winds. Our Trisha Terada tells us more from Naga City.
We just stepped out of our hotel to show to you the impact Typhoon Tisoy has made since it reached landmass earlier. It's been bringing in intensified rains and very strong winds. We're standing on a relatively safe ground, but the winds are too powerful that it can push us an inch or two from where we are standing. Now, from this point, going out, it could be very dangerous as we've been seeing branches falling off the trees. We've been hearing metal sheets and roofs flipping or could be flying from, as we've been hearing them from our roofs. You can hear that powerful, you can see that these powerful winds. They could be very dangerous for anyone who could be out on the streets at this time. Local authorities say they're on top of the situation, monitoring the impact of Typhoon Tisoy at the command post. We will be getting more information about that later in the day, but for now, what we do know is that there are more than 5,000 individuals at the evacuation centers. That's also equal to more than 1,000 families in temporary shelters. At this point, evacuation is already quite impossible with these very, very strong rains and winds. In Naga City, Trisha Terada, CNN Philippines.
Quezon Province also deals with communication and electricity problems. Carolyn Bonquin has the latest from Atimonan in Quezon.
The weather situation here in Atimonan, Quezon has gotten worse. We've been getting these thick, blinding rains since midnight. The wind is just pushing everything into that direction. It's so strong, it feels like it can blow away the roof of our hotel anytime. We have no idea what's happening out there. Communication lines are down. We have no electricity since 3 a.m. and going outside at this time is not advisable as we have been seeing a lot of falling debris on the road, and it seems like we will only know the extent of damage Typhoon Tisoy caused here in Timonan, Quezon once the weather situation improves. Reporting from Quezon Province, I'm Caroline Bongkin, CNN Philippines.
We want to find out the situation in Region 5. We will be speaking to the OCD director there, Claudio Yucot, in a while to get the latest from Region 5. And do we have him on the line? All right, we'll get him a little later on. As soon as we get our communication with him, we'll be speaking to him and find out the latest in Region 5. We'll be taking a short break. We'll get an update on the situation in Albay. Representative Joey Salceda will be with us. After the break, this is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Albay Public Safety Office has confirmed that Legazpi Airport in Albay has sustained heavy damage due to Typhoon Tisoy. Albay Public Safety and Emergency Management Office Chief Cedric Daep tells CNN Philippines thousands of passengers are stranded at the airport and all flights are canceled. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines will be the ones to determine when the flights will resume. We now have here in the studio Albay 2nd District Representative Joey Salceda. Congressman, good to see you, sir. Maraming
Yes, good
salamat for
morning.
being here. Sir, kamusta ang Albay ngayon?
I think we are recovering fast. With respect to that airport, I've talked to Kaap and to Secretary Tugade. We will resume flights tomorrow morning.
Okay.
In fact, yung Metro Manila, kung mag-resume sila, resume na kami.
Yeah, pero it said
So
it sustained some damages, the airport
Ibo-board
itself.
up lang, magpapadala ng personnel kasi baka yung mga personnel doon ay apektado din. So we'll do manual inspection ng mga baggage kasi ang pinaka-importante lang is security of departure.
Right.
So sabi ko kay si Jonko, kay Sir, kay General si Jonko, ako, sir, that airport is the first phase of Albay.
Yeah.
And we cannot have that as the symbol of disaster.
Not being utilized.
It should be it should be an icon of our resiliency.
Yeah.
Kaya dapat bukas. Kaninang umaga, mga alas 5, umiikot na po yung teams ng DPWH ng 2nd District Engineering Office. Kiniklear na po namin yung roads right after po kasi pumasok po yung 10 o'clock, yung first wall, yung eye wall, yun ang malakas. And then after 2 hours, pumasok ulit ng mga 2 o'clock. 10 to 12, very heavy talaga. And then,
10 p.m., sir.
at 10 p.m.
To 12 midnight.
And
Apo.
then, bumalik siya ng 2 p.m.
Ah.
2 a.m. So, biyernes pa kasi ako hindi natutulog
It's
masyado.
okay, sir.
Kasi nga po, I've been using the social media to essentially summon the better character of our Albayanos.
So, Congressman, it hit Albay, you're saying, sometime at 10 p.m. last
Pero marami ng
night.
initial, very stormy na kami since 7 p.m. actually.
Pero parang lumakas ng 10 p.m.
Eye wall, yung kasi di ba malaki siya 800, yung eye wall, yung tabi po ng mata.
Yung surrounding pa lang yun, ah. Kasi, sir, remember, pag tinitingnan natin yan, minsan ang fino-focus natin
Malaki ng
yung
mata kasi.
pinaka-
So, yung mata niya 55 km. So, basically po, it was running at 20 kph. So, 2 hours in between.
Right.
Yung first ream, yung second ream.
So 10 to 12, 10 p.m. to 12 midnight, and then again at
2 p.m.,
at
2 to 4.
To 2 a.m. Sir, how are the roads? What can you tell us?
We are now clear. So, by 12 p.m., 12 lunch. Oh, my time is really,
Don't worry, sir.
This combo yan. Clear, simula na po kami ng clearing. Kanina pang alas 5 na umaga. Right after umalis po yung eye wall. And then, so by lunch, yung major national roads po sa Albay, sa 2nd District, cleared. And then yung mga secondary roads, we're doing secondary roads within the day. Ang problema na sa...
What was the biggest problem?
Come again?
What was the biggest problem?
Well, yung manifestation, fallen flying roofs, fallen trees, isolated floods, and then basically, siyempre, may preemptive na brownouts, saka fallen electric posts. Pero kahapon, sinasabi ko na po sa lahat ng mga barangay at saka mga local government units na putulin na yung mga kahoy na pwede pong sumira ng mga electric posts.
Unahan na.
Unahan na po. Tsaka sa susunod, hindi na tayo maglagay ng mga kahoy sa tabi po ng kalsada. Huwag po tayo magtatanim sa tabi po ng mga electric posts at ng mga bahay na pwedeng mag-iba. So far po, zero casualty kami. We evacuated 125,282. And basically,
Individuals, sir?
Yes. So basically po, ang nangyari ay meron kami kahapon na electrocute, mga bandang hapon, pero hindi po, indirect casualty siya. Kumbaga, hindi po siya talaga direct result ng strong winds, flooding.
It's not because of Tisoy.
Well, sometimes kasi it's debatable. Kasi you prepare for it.
Correct, sir.
So when you prepare for it, you get into all these problems. So may mga, basically halos lahat po fallen trees ang mga injuries.
But the death, sir, death ho ba, yung electrocution?
Yes, sa tobacco.
Was prior to
the
storm.
onslaught. Yes.
But the cause
Pero masasabi, preparations.
Yeah, preparations,
And
yeah.
when you prepare to evacuate, etc.
that forms part, sir.
Debatable, indirect.
Yeah.
Indirect casualty.
So far, sir, one casualty.
So far, wala pa.
What about flooded areas? You mentioned that a while ago. Are they?
Usually, balangibang, and then, actually, over time kasi, we have built into our infrastructure already. Kaya yung expected natin na mga intense to torrential rainfall, nag-intense kami sa Legazpi, torrential po sa Tabaco. Mukhang, na-absorb po ng mga structures. So, yung floodings was not as what I expected na dapat hanggang bewang or something. Pero yung...
How far high did it go, sir, yung
I
flooding?
don't know, hanggang tuhod lang, max.
Tapos nag-subside din kaagad?
Kasi na-absorb siya kasi we built mga flood control and mitigation structure there. I think nagkaroon ng one of the biggest TRR really, disaster risk reduction, is really to build yung mga infrastructure. So, yung na-address po namin yan. It showed that it worked.
Yeah. At least, sir, because palagi hong tinatamaan ng...
Yeah, alam na dapat namin yun.
ng albay. I remember, sir, in fact, you were saying that parang your constituents are already used to taking care of themselves during situations like this.
Opo, and then the whole, nasa muscle memory. And I think our institutions for resilience are working.
But how can you tell us the situation in terms of how bad it was in Albay, sir?
175 kph, that's really, and then of course we had intense to torrential rainfall and talagang continuous. Pero yung mga tao na mga pwede pong not vulnerable, na-evacuate namin before lunch.
Could you, meron ho ba siyang, was there a similar incident in the past, sir?
Glenda.
Si Glenda pa rin, 2014?
Yes, 2014, zero casualty din po kami. But during that time, we had to mas sigurista po ako eh. So 325,000 ang in-evacuate po namin.
During Glenda?
During Glenda.
Right.
Yeah, but that was really strong. So, same, strong wind, strong, and then direct hit din po yung Albay.
What is the priority now, sir, in Albay?
I think providing assistance to dun po sa mga houses na nilipad, flying yero, tapos pangalawa, yung agriculture kasi nasa sowing stage pa lang kami sa rice. Tapos so baka po sa coconuts again. So basically yan po magiging priority natin, I think housing assistance.
Yeah. But of course, I can imagine, sir, at this point, umiikot pa rin ho siguro
Opo, nasa assessment pa po yung both yung teams ng engineering district kasi it's yung DPWH engineer tapos yung local government pati po yung OCD. There are 3 separate teams that are going around.
Sir, what about those evacuated? Are they free to go home or have they gone
After
home?
lunch siguro kasi sabi ko nga kanina sa OCD, bago kayo umikot, punta muna kayo sa Pag-asa. Kasi yun
To be
dapat.
sure.
Hindi man, yung institutional memory kasi we keep changing of course the regional director, everything like that.
Yeah.
So para po, sabi ko, as a matter of that's the necessary first step. You ask Pag-asa, are you it's okay to go out and assess. And based on that assessment,
That's the time they
that's the
should.
time. So okay na daw siya. So paganda na po yung panahon by mga bandang 2:00 po.
We'll be taking a short break. Is there a need now for a Department of Disaster Resilience? This is The Source on CNN Philippines. We'll be talking about that when we come back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. We now speak to OCD Region 5 Director Claudio Yucot to get the latest. Director Yucot, you're speaking to us from Legazpi, sir?
Yes, good morning, Pinky. Good morning sa lahat ng inyong sa ating mga tagapanood.
Initial assessment nyo, sir?
Yes, kagabi magdamag kaming binayo ni Tisoy. Nag-landfall siya sa may vicinity ng Prito Diaz ng Sorsogon City. But kasama ang Legazpi City sa sa kanyang pagbukso. Ang lakas niya nung mag-landfall siya was about 165 kilometers per hour sustained winds near the center at may pagbukso na about 275. Tumawid siya papunta ng from Prito Diaz, Sorsogon, tumawid siya ng Burias Island at papunta ng Quezon.
Opo.
So sa ngayon wala pa kaming na-monitor na mga casualties except yung nandun sa Libmanan na kuryentehan.
Opo.
Kahapon, Marco Paulo Orsua, kanyang pangalan, ay 33 years old. Yun lamang aming na-monitor na casualties so far. Kasi yung ating areas na medyo na matindi ang tama, yung Sorsogon at saka Catanduanes, ay wala tayong signal ngayon doon. Down yung ating mga telcos. The only communication we have is the radio communications provided by the Philippine Army, 9th Infantry Division, Philippine Army. Yun lang yung ating connection sa Catanduanes
And Sorsogon.
at ngayon sa Sorsogon City. Sorsogon,
Opo.
probinsya ng Sorsogon. Yes.
And because of that, sir, aning nakuha ninyong report?
Yun nga ang problema natin kasi the radio operators will have to connect first with the PDRMO. Sa ngayon, ang sabi ang report sa amin ay medyo matindi. Ang tinanong namin kung gaano katindi yung tama sa Catanduanes, sabi on a scale of 1 to 10,
Opo.
10 yung pinakamatindi, 1 yung pinakamahina. Ang sabi nila nasa 5 yung kanilang devastation doon.
5 ang devastation, sir.
Yes. Ngayon, nagpadala kami ng isang empleyado namin sa Sorsogon City. Sa Sorsogon, kasi hindi maliwanag yung kanilang transmission sa amin. Kaya pinadala na namin yung isang empleyado namin doon to assess the situation.
When do you think you will have more information, Director? I understand that very limited ngayon, especially in
Yes,
Sorsogon
very
and
limited
Catanduanes.
kasi yung badly devastated areas ay wala tayong signal. So they cannot send us photos of what really happened. Ang atin lamang ay voice through the radio communication provided by the Army.
Alright, sige, maraming salamat, Director Yucot. Patuloy po kaming makikipag-ugnayan sa inyo within the day. Thank you, sir. Alright, still here in the studio, Congressman Joey. Congressman, let's talk about this, the Disaster Resilience Department. This was approved sa House Committee pa lang po. Obviously, matagal na ho itong pinag-uusapan. Naalala ko po during the campaign period.
5 years pa. 5 years na.
Yeah, so it passed the House Committee.
Actually, last year, we passed it sa third reading. So,
Pero syempre, ngayon, it just passed the House again.
No.
A House Committee, rather.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us more about it. What is the need for it?
Example yung sinabi kanina ni Director Yucot. Kailangan dumaan sila sa Philippine Army kasi walang communications. Dapat may sarang autonomous na communication. Yung Albay po, meron kami sariling SMS, UHF, BHF capacity. Yung ami pong APSIMO. So dapat may sarili din po yung OCD. At saka ilan lang tao nila. 10 bawat region. So kailangan natin i-bolster yun. I don't know whether we will go down. So that's part of the plan na to build it up is capacity, put it in a stature of a department so that merong isang tao lang na magbabaston ng lahat po. Simula po sa, kasi ayaw sumama ng Pag-asa PBOX MGB. So nagkaroon lang kami ng para mga operating system na linegislate namin, operating mechanisms, katulad secondment, tapos pag panahon na ganito, automatic po sila under the direct control and supervision po ng DDR. Yung BFP, to provide boots in the ground. Buti nga ngayon dahil po nga talaga evacuate kami. Nagkaayos-ayos naman po yung aming infra, public infra, yung mga kalsada, drainage, at saka yung mga bahay okay na. So konti na lang po. We cut our evacuation target from 325 to 125 only.
So, who's going to form part of the DDR, sir?
Basically, OCD
And who
po
will
ang
head
core.
it? Okay. So,
Who will
OCD.
head it? Kung ako tanungin mo, dapat si Solidum. Kasi knowing everybody in that domain, I would say he's the guy for it. He has a clear assessment. He's been through a lot of actual situation in the ground. But I don't know. You just asked me, that's why I answered.
Yeah.
But so basically kasi, ilang ng phase niyan, 4. Risk assessment or risk reduction. And then you have preparedness. Ito pong nangyari right before. And then you have response and rescue, relief. And then you have recovery and rehabilitation. Ngayon po, yung rehab nakalagay sa NEDA. So, bawat putok po ng katulad ng Yolanda, we create a commission. Pag putok ni Remy, we create a commission. Pati Marawi, we create a commission. So, wala na be-built na institutional memory on how to do rehabilitation work. So, lessons are lost. And then, pagdating naman po sa rescue and relief na nakadepende sa, ang chairman po ang DSWD. Ngayon, well, salamat po sa DBLS, sila lang po ang sumama. Yung lahat po ng mga repacking centers, yung relief operation, pati budget, binigay na po under the bill to DDR. So yung NRCO, etc., yung repacking warehouses will be turned over po to the new Department of Disaster Relief. Kasi kung minsan po yung mga LGUs mahilig mag-shopping, hihingi dito, hihingi doon. Ngayon, kailangan based po sa risk, based po sa impacts. Kasi yun naman ang gawain ng DDR. Alamin kung nasaan po ang mga vulnerabilities, kung saan po yung impacts ng isang disaster. Automatic, mabibigay nila kung anong kaya ng national government. Tapos yung LGU, dapat yung sarili nila pong...
But what's the difference, sir? I'm imagining the goods are pre-positioned also
right now.
days before. Yeah.
But now, it is the management of the distribution. Because now, as I said, yung mga local government unit, ngayon, isa lang kausap ng local government unit sa national government. Isa lang. DDR lang, hindi yung DSWD, hindi OCD.
Ang dami mo pa tinatawagan.
Yes.
Okay.
Hindi lang sila ng tamagan, pero kung minsan...
Ang dami mo hinihingan.
Kung magagaling yan. And kung minsan, some are better than others.
Is it really time to have
It should be
this,
based
sir?
on risk, yes?
You know, is it really time to have this? As you mentioned, sir, passed in the last House.
Yes.
During the campaign, a number of candidates were also espousing this. You have 20 typhoons on average entering the Philippines. We have earthquakes. Is it about time that we have...
Long overdue. Kaya tagal na dapat may FEMA kasi based po doon sa Sunset Review under Republic Act 1021, yung NDRIM-C Act, nakalagay doon ang lumabas pa sa pag-aaral, kailangan po na isang mas malakas na unit o kaya ginawang department pagdating po sa emergency response. Kaya ibig sabihin, kailangan i-equip natin to, kailangan bigyan ng training. Kasi yung kalat-kalat ng training, mag-drill ka man for earthquake once every quarter. Dapat po lahat. You know, in the whole world, we have the biggest number of children living in earthquake zones.
I can imagine, sir, the kind of responsibility nitong DDR.
Kaso,
Yung kanyang scope of work, job description, and responsibility.
Yes. Pero tingnan mo rin yung risk. Dapat commensurate yung capacity sa risk. So, alam mo, tatlong bagay. One, nasa Pacific Ring of Fire tayo. Kaya may vulkan tayong mga active. Nasa earthquake belt tayo. Dorma tayo na lahat ng bagyo. Diba? Tapos grabe ang ating urbanization. Okay. And then of course, you have climate change impacts other than, you know, severe pong mga typhoons.
So yeah, we will tingnan natin, sir, if this will actually make it in this Congress, kung maipapasa po ito. And just very quickly, how much budget are you looking at for DDR,
Ang sabi
sir?
ng 1.5 billion just to get it created.
Okay, just to get it created. All right. We've run out of time. We'd like to thank Albay Representative Joey Salceda. Sir, maraming salamat po sa inyo. And thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.